So we got a question from Matt, who recently decided to take on the journey of jiu-jitsu. He's ready to hit the mats and get going. The only issue is that there are no mats to get going on. So there is no gym in his area nearby for him to train at. And so he's wondering, how do you start training jiu-jitsu, or what do you do if you want to train jiu-jitsu and there isn't a gym nearby? And I've gotten this question recently a bunch from Instagram, YouTube, and from several people that are interested in training, but there's no gym. So I definitely wanted to touch on this one. Now, I'll say this. I've never actually been in a situation where I didn't have a gym nearby. My first gym was kind of far. It was about an hour out, like one way. So I would drive an hour one way and drive an hour back. But I recently did a one-on-one sort of a private lesson through Skype where I was working with a guy who's in a situation where he's kind of in a remote location and he's not able to train regularly with the coach. And so I did some information with him, sort of talked to him about it, and we went through some information. He found it useful, so I'm going to share with you guys the guts of it, and hopefully this is helpful to you, Matt, and anyone else in the situation. So first things first, set up a location, set up a sacred space for your training. And you can call it dedicated space if you will, but basically think about the effect of physical locations on the way that you feel and the way that your body reacts, right? So like when you go, maybe if you ever had a job that you haven't liked, right? I've had several I didn't like, and just seeing the building or walking into the building would put me in a foul mood, or it would make my body tense, or it would make me uncomfortable, right? Or think about what happens when you go to a restaurant. I know for me, if I'm really hungry, as soon as I walk in the restaurant, I'm instantly even more hungry because I'm starting to think about food and I know it's coming soon, and I get in that mindset of I'm ready to eat. And you can think about what happens when you get done with a long day after work and you go home, and typically homes are set up for luxury or comfort. And you go home and the first thing you want to do is plop on the couch and relax. And so if you have a home gym setup and you don't have some dedicated space to it to kind of put you in the mindset of training, like when people walk through the gym doors here, they're not in a mindset of wanting to relax. They're in a mindset of, hey, we're here to learn, we're here to train, we're here to push ourselves. You want to have some dedicated space in your home for that, right? So for instance, I know one of my guys has a spare bedroom, it's a mat room. Another guy has a garage that's been set up as a mat room. You know, for me, I don't need a mat room. I've got one behind me, but I have some space in my home that's dedicated to reading. I've got a writing desk, and I've also got a little section of my living room that's dedicated to like yoga. So I've got yoga mats laying down, and as soon as I walk into that space, that's all it's there for. I'm there to do that. So, you know, simply just making a small step. Once my feet feel the yoga mat under me, I'm here to stretch, I'm here to breathe, and kind of get into that sort of routine. And so I would say start by getting some sort of dedicated space for yourself in your home, wherever it might be, wherever your significant other allows to put that stuff in. Now, after that, you'll need to recruit some friends. After you get your buddies, then here's where the training starts. Seek out a gym that's somewhere nearby, right? I mean, this could be 3 hours or whatever it might be away, but find a gym that's going to be within a drivable distance and talk to the coach and let them know the situation. And then what you want to do is go to that gym from time to time, you know, routinely on a regular basis and train with them, because there really is no substitute for having a set of experienced eyes and a body to work with you. I started jiu-jitsu off in my basement, training from like videotapes and stuff like that. And I did this for months. And then when I actually started training jiu-jitsu, a really short time in the actual gym itself with a coach completely like ran over top of everything that I learned previously. Like I was making lots of mistakes, and I was just so much more productive when I was having guidance from a coach. Now, again, it's not feasible for you to be there all the time, but you could go train with them, get some information, come back and work with it with your buddies, and you guys could build it up together. You can think about the Gracies. This kind of happened with them, right? Back in the day, as the legend goes, the Japanese judoka would come in, they would teach some stuff, the Gracies would take it, the Japanese judoka would leave, and then they would just kind of work with what they had, and this process repeated. Even me, like my coach Sean down in Nashville, I used to go down to his gym about every other Thursday for a long period of time, because I was trying to teach myself as a brown belt. And again, that's tough to do. I didn't really know what I was doing yet. And so I would go down there and train with Sean. I would get ideas for his classes and the techniques that he was showing, and I would take in these ideas and this training. I would come back, and usually on a Thursday, I would do 2 sessions down in Nashville, and I would come up to Louisville immediately after, and I would take it and show it to my guys, and we would do the same stuff, and I would sort of reteach it to help me learn it better, and I would share it with my guys to make them better. And so kind of the same idea. Go to another gym, learn from a coach, bring it back with your buddies, and then work on it some more. Now, in the interim between those periods, you may consider doing some video series or instructional type video series that you can augment your training with. And the big key with this is that if you use a video series, right, stick to it for a while. Don't just give up on it, because a lot of times there's so much information, it can be easy to hop around. Let's say, for instance, you purchase one of mine, right? My half guard series, I'll say as an example. Take the half guard series and then stick with it for like a month, right? So drill the techniques, work on the techniques, teach the techniques to your friends and have them work them with you. And then do situational roles to help drive the positions home, to give you a chance to use them. And then hang on to those positions and those techniques for like a month and continue to work on them. Because remember, in jiu-jitsu, we're not in the business of just simply knowing the techniques. We're in the business of wiring them into the nervous system so that we can use them under stressful conditions. Those are two different things. Like, I know people that know lots of techniques, but they can't use them. Right? To me, I'm very functional with it. I don't care about knowing everything. I'm really worried about what can I use? What can I use when shit hits the fan? And that's really what you want to start with, is giving yourself a strong base. So hang on to the information. And then kind of repeat the process. So I think that's the guts of it, right? So create a dedicated space for your mats in your gym, in your home gym. From there, go find a coach, periodically work with them, get some guidance from them as well. Instructional videos and video series to augment your training. And then find some buddies to train with. And I think that would be a basic start, as far as getting a gym set up. And you can look at this as an opportunity rather than a hindrance. Guys like my coach Sean, they were learning back in the day from fax machines. Literally, he said that at their old gym, they would get a fax sent in, right? So just complete text that would be sent to them, and they would take it and look at it, and then they would have to teach whatever was in the fax. Hopefully they explained it well. But again, we're a far cry from there. But again, you can look at it as an opportunity where you can be a trailblazer in your area, where you can bring jiu-jitsu into that area. But again, you will want some help from more experienced and knowledgeable people. So anyway, Matt, hope this helps. And guys, anyone in that situation, I hope this video is helpful to you. And guys, I'll talk to you next time.